Hey everybody, Jay here at Lived and Learned DIY. So I'm in the shop today, and you're probably wondering, why the heck is Jay dressed up like he is? Well, let me show you. It is snowing. It's January the 26th, 2026, and we had the big blizzard that came through. Over the weekend. Mostly ice in our area, a little bit of snow. Now we got snow coming down like crazy. So anyway, so I'm dressed up. I'm staying warm. I've been outside this morning working a little bit, so now I'm in the shop and we're gonna get started on a different project today. So the project we got in store today is actually my trailer. This was like the first project I ever did on a YouTube channel, and we added this 2-foot dovetail on the back. So as you guys can see, my trailer, it's in pretty bad shape. The fenders are junk. They've been junk for a long time, but now they're even more junk. You can see that one over there, it's all torn to pieces. The decking is bad. The paint is almost non-existent. The one good thing is the winch is good. The winch is really good. Actually, it looks a little bit derelict, but it's fine. It works great. I've pulled a lot of cars up on here, tractors, what have you, on there. So you can see what I'm getting into. So I think today I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to fix my fender problem with a lot better, higher quality fenders. So here we go. So I want to show you folks these trailer fenders. I don't know how they've stayed on. That's all the tack that's holding that on, and a little spot right there. And then about 1.5 inch long tack right there. That's it. Even the mounts are breaking from the trailer right there. We're going to take those lights off. We'll put them back on our new mounts. We're going to put red lights back here. And then also we're going to create, I hope, a little eyebrow to go over those, to protect those for when I'm loading stuff and I get too close to the tractor. Of course, these standard pockets here, or standoff pockets there, they do help protect a little bit, but if you come straight into this one, you're going to have some problems. So all my lights work, actually. It's one of the few trailers in our whole part of the country that all the lights work on it. So I say that jokingly, but you would not believe how many times I get behind people on the highway who have absolutely no lights whatsoever. So it's kind of a running joke with me and my buddies. So there you go. You can see what the project is. So let's get started on that. You can see this one got into my tire the other day. So that's how hard it was to get that off there. It was broken way before that I ever got to it. So there you go, folks. There's nothing that looks more naked or bare than a trailer without fenders, I'll tell you that. See that? And also too, you would not believe how many people I see pulling a trailer like that as well. You know, it's whatever you want to do, I guess. But if I'm hauling a car or something like that, I don't want to get, you know, all the nastiness off the road all over whatever I'm pulling. So there you see it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off those up there and cut off this right here. And then we're probably going to get rid of these and put on a heavier one. And we're certainly going to put one right here. That way, if something does touch the fenders, it's not going to collapse them over into the tires. Plus, when you see my fenders, you're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I get it. So that's that. There's that. I have a lot of cleaning up to do here. There's obviously some sharp metals, so got some cleaning up to do there, up here in the front. But it's going pretty well. We may replace that light. It's a good one, but we may replace it to match these. I'm not sure. This one has like 6 bulbs across it. Yeah, it's got 6. This one has 3, but these are brighter for some reason. So anyway, let's keep moving. I'm gonna get this fender taken off here, hopefully in short order. So just got a little bit more cutting to do. I know most of you folks know this, but when you're working on stuff like this and you're grinding, and even right here where this weld broke, that is sharp. That's as sharp as a razor blade. You gotta be extremely careful or you cut yourself badly, and that rusty metal is no good at all. You better go get a tetanus shot. So as you can see, this fender here is really bad shape. The tire rubs on it. It's broken in so many places. And I put like 2 dents in this, seriously, on myself. But everybody's borrowed this trailer. They must load it from this side, because my goodness, look at this. Phew. I might quit letting people borrow my stuff. But anyway, let's get this thing cut off here and get prepped up for our new trailer fenders. Okay, so you can see behind me the pile of carnage and rusty metal. I took some time off camera and maybe some 4-letter words. I don't know, but here you go. Look at this pile of metal scraps here we got to go to the junkyard. That's all the fenders and pieces of fenders and mounts and all that stuff that came off this trailer. And I made a decision. I'm going to take a little different direction for now, and what I'm going to do is actually jack it up and get the tires off of at least one side. That way I can get in here and get access to all these welds, because they're nasty. They are so jagged even before I cut them. And then that's been on there for a long time, but it's got some booger welds on there too. And also at some point, probably not today, but at some point, I want to lubricate the leaf springs. So you guys down in the comments section, tell me what you use to lubricate leaf springs on a trailer or anything really. But I think I should use graphite grease, but I'm not sure. So you guys leave me a comment, let me know. You can see here that needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed, that, all of that, and even right here, very sharp. Right here, I'm not really sure. They had the bottom of that fender spot welded right there, and that was it. The only spot. So I don't know, you see how rusty this thing is, but structurally it's fine. It's just, it looks terrible. So I've got this side of the trailer prepped up pretty well now. I've got all the welds smoothed down. I've got all of the sharp edges are gone, and we've got a clean surface to start working off of. Now, honestly, you know, I may have to grind further back when I weld, because I'm not sure exactly where my fenders are going to land, because you'll see. But anyway, I'm really pleased with this. Now, actual time involved in this is about an hour. It's been actually about an hour and 15. That was taking a grinding wheel like this, just a standard old grinding rock, on a corded grinder, knocking down the worst of it, because those are very aggressive. And then I took my flap wheel on my cordless and cleaned it up and got rid of all the really roughness, so real bad roughness. So I kind of think it'll take about an hour and 15 on the other side. I've got the left side, or driver's side, or however you want to call it, I've got it ready for the fenders to go back on. Now I've got to tackle this side, and you can see I haven't done anything over here. So what I want to do first, I'm actually going to measure the distance of the wheels and all that. You'll see why. I'll explain a little bit more later, but right now I'm going to measure that, make some write this stuff down, and then I'll get back to you guys. So I've got both of the tires off, and show you something here. This one turned over. I don't know how they do that. I know one thing, it's hard as heck to get them back in the right location, that's for sure. But you can see all the rust kind of around these areas here, and that means that it's been needing lubricated for a while. So that's on me. But this side's going to be a lot easier to clean up. I have hardly any welds where the fenders were welded on. Right there some, and where the brace was on there, but it's not going to be bad. So let's go ahead and clean this side up. Hopefully this one won't take an hour or longer. So here we are, folks. Here's the fenders. They're not fenders yet. This is, I don't know what thickness. I think it's 1/8 inch, a full 1/8 inch thick plate steel. Very heavy duty. As you can see, they're about 8 feet long. Well, you can't see that yet, but they're about 8 feet long. And I had a local machine shop to break these out for me probably a year ago, knowing that I was going to use them for a fender. Thank goodness I did. They went out of business, and now I've got my stuff that I need. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to create these and make these into fenders. So I'm going to lay it on the trailer here so you can see how long it is. Okay, everyone, so I've got my fenders here, and this is one, and it is 93 inches. So something I use as a tool that I already have is a CAD program. So on the CAD program, all I'm going to do is lay out the measurements I made of the wheels and tires, which is very crude, but that's what I need. So we've got 60 inches from outside to outside of tires. We got about a 5 inch. I'm going to make it exactly 6 from the trailer height, deck height, up to the top of the fenders. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to use my CAD program to actually see where my brakes need to be, because what I'm going to do is at the corner, instead of being rounded, I can't do that with this material, especially. I don't have anything to do that with. I'm going to cut the lip like a 22.5 or whatever, go at a 45-degree angle, and then another 45 down. That way, I know you guys have seen the squared off type fenders. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going for. So, you know, you'll cut a groove out in it like that, and then when you break it, it comes in like this. So anyway, you understand what I'm getting at. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go design that on my CAD program right now, and then I'll show you guys how I break them out the rest of the way. So just gonna have to cut them, cut the edges, the lip, and then put some heat on that center section. So after working on my CAD program, I've realized that these are going to work out just great. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I've come up with. So as I was saying, these are 93 inches long. What it is, I took my CAD program, entered the wheel and tire size, the height of the deck, and then the length of these. And I've calculated that if I'm 54 inches long on the top panel, that's flat, and then break it at a 45 and a 45 out here, that will get us enough fender to cover everything well and clear the tires. So that's what I'm going to get started on, and I'll do a little bit of recording of that while I'm working on it. So we're going to divide this in half and put a mark in the center of the fender piece. So it's 93, I think. Yep, half of 93. Quickly, guys, what is that? 46 and a half. Double check ourselves. 46 and a half, perfect. Okay, we're gonna go get our square and square this line up, and then we're gonna measure out 27 and 27, which will make a grand total of 54. Then we're gonna make a drawing for our notches. It'd be a 45 in here, and then that way when you bend them together, it'll be a 45-degree angle going out the side. So 2 22 and a halves in here and over there. Same out here. So what I think I'll do here, folks, is cut me a piece of really thick metal, go across here, and then later on it can serve as my center support bracket. But for right now, I can clamp it to the table and heat this and then bend it up. So that's what I think I'm going to try next. Okay, both ends are square. Let's see if this fits. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to clamp that in there like so. we go with the second side of this trailer fender. Okay, so the quickest way I could think of checking this was cut me a piece of wood at a 45-degree angle. Pretty close right there. We're going to go ahead and hit this ratchet strap a couple times just to bring it on in there a little closer. Boys and girls, that looks really, really close right there. Really close. So I'm going to tack these joints right here, and I am just going to tack them enough to hold. Alright, so here we go. Now you can see my vision of what I was wanting to do with these. Obviously I've got it setting up on the trailer. It's going to be out here over the wheels, and we're going to have standards to hold them up with. Then we're going to have a really heavy one right here. We're going to have one come up from right here all the way up and out. That way that if someone steps on the fender or whatever else, it's not going to fold like the old ones did. So you guys can see what I got going on there, and now we just got to repeat the process on the other side and then finish welding these corners up. And then I really think I'm going to bolt these fenders to the trailer instead of welding. So I've already been working on my fenders a little bit and just doing the boring, monotonous stuff nobody wants to watch, but I drilled the holes for the fender mount, and then I put the fender mount on. I got my bolts a little too long, so I got to cut those down a little bit and put them on. And that's 2 by 2 by 1/4 inch angle iron. That's going to help stabilize that fender quite well. So I'm going to keep working on those monotonous jobs, and then I'll show you guys when I get ready to put the other fender on. So, well, if you guys are like me, I work by myself about 95 to 98% of the time. I don't know how I came up with those averages. It's close to 100. That's all I know. Anyway, so you have to get creative when looking for help. So we've got jack stands for one set of hands and another jack stand for this side. I went through and I made sure that my trailer is centered right there, and then I'm going to clamp it back here, clamp it up here, and I'll put a self-tapper through it just to secure it for now. And then I'll put the 3 bolts in and all that. But this side's coming along. After I learned what to do on the other side, this one's a lot quicker. I guess you guys have run into that before too. So, okay folks, I'm going to show you a little something today, a little pro tip here. So if you're working with thick metal, anything an 1/8 of an inch thick or thicker, you'll want to use these self-drilling screws. See that? Got the cutting edge, the long tapered cutting edge. And this is made out of some kind of metal that's really tough. Now, this style is also a self-driller or self-tapper. That's made for sheet metal. You can see it's not got the very long tip on it. It does have a cutting edge on the threads, and these have snapped off more times than I want to admit when I'm using them on thick metal. So I quit using those. I started using these self-drilling. There you go, self-drilling. And they work great. And also, you cannot use these with an impact driver. You can, but you'll ruin the screw. A drill at a slow pace going through, that's the best method. Okay, so you can see that we've got it all prepped here. Got my hole drilled. All this is drilled, bolted on. Another hole drilled down here. So let's go ahead and put this thing on. this back on. Put a bolt in here to center it with. It's time to do a little cleanup work, and I've got all those metal shavings, and let me tell you something, those things get in your hands and they'll kill your hands. So what I do, I take a magnet, thick piece of paper, put the magnet in the paper like so, and watch. Just like that. Then pulling the magnet out. Just like that. Now you can take a shop vac and do it too. Obviously there's 100 ways to do this, but the shop vac gets clogged up with this stuff if it's those big pieces sometimes. So I'm gonna keep sweeping across here and getting the little stuff off my trailer. It even gets the grinding dust as well. Look at this, this is cool. See that? So anyway, like I said, pull your magnet out and boom, right in the trash can. There you go. Well everybody, that's a wrap on this video. So this is probably part 2 of working on my trailer. Like I said, my very first YouTube video was about putting the dovetail back here on that trailer. And now we've upgraded fenders, much needed upgrade. Tune in next time for the filler panels over here and under here. Keeps all the dirt and water and everything else out from splashing up on whatever you're hauling. So that'll go in there. That'll just be a quick video. And then also sometime in the near future, what we're gonna do is replace all the decking, the wooden decking, some way. Can't tell you how yet, but we're gonna replace that. And the trailer's gonna get painted. So we're gonna try a couple products that are paint over rust products, and some of you guys might know what I'm talking about, but we're gonna try that product on this trailer because you can see that it has a lot of rust. Tune in next time, guys. Thanks for watching. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into my videos. I really appreciate you guys watching, sharing, liking, commenting, all the things. You know what to do. If you guys don't care, hit that subscribe button for me. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it keeps you up to date on what I'm doing. And I promise I'll be putting out more videos this year. So subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks, guys. See you next time.